Okay, prepare yourself, guys. Chris with T3 Medias, and I am going to review what I just saw as one of the best trailers I've seen all year so far. The Lion King trailer, I was watching it as it was trending up and trending. It showed last time I checked, it was at trending at number 2, and now it's at number 1. Just hit refresh and boom, it's number 1. It's the number 1 thing that's being talked about right now on YouTube and probably everywhere now. People are reacting to it. I saw the trailer early this morning, and I went back to sleep. I was like, I'll watch it later. But I knew I was going to talk about. I'm like, do I want to do a reaction to this and have Disney just flag it anyway and pull it down? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm tired of it. So I'm going to give a review for it. And you might be wondering, why are you in front of the green screen and not looking at the camera? Why are you looking that way as if you're talking to somebody? Well, I'm looking right ahead at Heath Ledger. I'm looking at my favorite poster ever. Most favorite poster of all time is Why So Serious Heath Ledger poster. It's my favorite poster. And that's what I'm looking at. So from this is the angle that I'm going to do. So I see you there. I see you guys watching me. But from this point on, you know that that's who I'm talking to. I'm imagining he's my co-pilot. He's in the room with me. The Joker is guiding me through this. So that's why I'm not looking at you. I'm being guided by a higher power. So when I saw this trailer, and let me pull it up on this screen over here that you cannot see because, like I said, I ain't trying to get caught up. Let me turn the volume down a little bit so I'll listen to a little bit of it. So as it begins, it starts off with Nala and Simba heading out to the boneyard. You know, you were supposed to go to the water hole, and that was one of the things I loved about the original, the sassiness that they brought into the animation of the Nala character. And I think Beyoncé Knowles-Carter will do good at bringing that to this character because she has a lot of sass. She just gets up there and if Beyonce is her Sasha Fierce, I think that's who should do the voice of Nala. It should not be Beyoncé Knowles-Carter. It should be Sasha Fierce. And if you don't know who Sasha Fierce is, then you don't know Beyonce and you're not a real fan. If Sasha Fierce is doing the voice of Nala, then this movie is already 50% where it needs to be. Because I'm going to be judging everything that I see by the little things that people hardly talk about when it comes to this movie. When it comes to things like that conversation where Simba lied to his mom about where they were going to go because they were going to go hang out at the elephant graveyard, a boneyard. And he had to cover his tracks. And he's like, well, we're just going to go to the water hole. And then Nala was like, the water hole? What's there to do at the water hole? What black girl, some animator's daughter up there at Disney who had a black friend and was like, how could you say this? Ashenka or something like that. You know what they did. They did the research. They went to somebody's hood or they were probably watching Living Color and was like, we got to get her to say it like that. And they even had Nala do the neck roll. What's that to do with the water hole? Like, I'll tell you when you get there. Shut the fuck up. Mom's right there. Your mom, you getting a bath right now? My mom's right there. I think my dad is both of our dads. I don't know what's going on. But, you know, if Mufasa was the only one getting the lionesses, then there's brother and sister. And I stand by that. I stand by that theory. But you hear, and this is why, and if you don't know, if you watch any of my videos, you will always know that I usually begin my videos with prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris with T3 Medias, and I say that because I'm a huge fan of The Lion King. It comes from Uncle Scar, the song Be Prepared. And that's just become my opener for because I've stood by that song. It's the best song on the soundtrack, the original soundtrack. I think they're not going to play it this time, but it's fine. It can be cheesy. I mean, it's a great song for the animated version. I don't think a lot of the songs would not play well for this version of the animation, for the mimicking of. I'm not going to call it live action anymore. None of these characters are live. There are no human beings in this movie. Never was. So why is it called live? Why are people calling it live action? Like, whose heartbeat are you seeing? What blood flow and what person are you seeing on the screen? You're not. You're seeing animation. This is another animated movie. Just because the animation is mimicking real life, like sunshine, literally, doesn't mean that, that they're not out there. There's people that are in a studio, sound studio, and they're recording the voice just like the original one. It's the same process. It's just on a computer. But people, they see something they think is real. It's oh my god. We're getting closer and closer to this. Jon Favreau is showing us that we are getting ever so close to an all animated movie that can trick the human eye, and make us believe that that we're watching something real. It's amazing, man. It's almost freaky. It's freaky how realistic. And that's probably what they should call this. They should call it realistic animation, not live, because it's nobody's live. And here, that's not a real lion. Okay, that's then Nala and Simba walk into the boneyard, both with a buck and a quarter. Simba is gonna and Nala's gonna come back with. Nala's gonna come back with what, 250? What's that? Is that the joke? And then you hear Uncle Scar's voice. You hear this a little bit. Life, oh yeah, the opening night, life not fair. That was the thing when you first heard Scar speak. When I think he was a mouse. The opening of the movie, it was a mouse. And then the first thing you see is Scar's paw. Cover that mouse. And he dangles it in his hands, just, doing nice little ball tricks with a mouse. Life not fair, is it? Well, I shall never be king, and you shall never see another light of day. I do. And then Zazu's punk ass walks in, interrupts him, and makes him lose it. And then he's like, "Well, you playing with your food again, man? Look at you over there talking to yourself over there, and Scar was. You can tell there's a history there. I want to see. Forget the history. That's why I feel like there should be a backstory of the relationship between Scar and Mufasa. Because Zazu is in there somewhere. They were best friends, like the way Nala and Simba came up together and whatnot. They're best friends and they play around. I think Mufasa and Zazu were that close, and they never invited Scar out to play and all that stuff. Like, you ain't gonna be a king. Mufasa ain't gonna be king. You ain't nothing but blah, blah, blah. And Scar never forgot. Why do you think Scar imprisoned him first? You think that Zazu was in there like a lovely bunch of coconuts, better like that? You think he was in there for a reason? For no reason? No, he was in. He was probably there day one. We're bringing together a new era where lions and hyenas will work together. Second order of business. Zazu, come here. Come here, Zazu. I need to talk to you. You can, yeah. Arrest him. And he sat there in that bone cage watching Scar eat other animals. He was destroying Zazu's mind, watching all that carnage and eating them. Probably never all alive. He probably ordered them to bring animals in alive so he could eat them in front of Zazu and make Zazu get scraps and pick at it. You get to that though. That's all you get. Keep you alive just long enough. I'll fatten you up because the day is coming. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next month. I don't know. I don't care. Sometime soon, I will be the one who eats you, Zazu. He came so close, so many times, until Mufasa comes in, drop him. Had it all over his body. It was, oh man. There's a history there. And I hope they get, that's another thing. I hope They capture that. I want to feel the history between it's that animosity. Something's there between Scar and Zazu. And so in the opening, he's talking about my little friend. He's not talking to Simba. And they changed the words up, as some are born to feast, others are born, talking about the weak and the strong and whatnot. He's probably talking to that mouse. He's not talking to Simba on that one. That was the opening. You missed the birth of after, this is after. I really consider the opening of the movie that moment where Scar comes in and starts talking and starts monologuing. The original opening is out the movie. The music with the sunrise and all the animals gathering together, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be then, but the second it goes, the Lion King, then the movie starts. That's the opening where we're gathering around to the birth of the new king. It's the beginning of the movie, technically, yes, but that's the opening of it. That's to me, that's the cover of the book. The second you open the book, that's Scar. I feel like the animals gathering and everything. I feel like that's the cover of the book, and then you open the book, and Scar is the first thing we see. With that mouse getting caught by Scar, the first thing we see. Message from somebody wants to send me a message on Xbox, part of that video that I just did. But that whole conversation about life not being fair, the weak being eaten by the strong, I feel like I can already tell they changed it up. So you're already getting a sense of the liberties that they're taking, the changes. Because remember, the original was a cartoon for families and kids mostly, but it was deep, man. It was deep and impacted me. Tyrone Magin said it didn't, when he saw it, it didn't impact. This was it. I was one of the ones that it impacted me. I was one of the ones when the movie, when the screen went blank and then the sun rose and I jumped. Oh, shoot, that sound. I knew that this was going to be a great movie because the first thing you feel when that book opens, the sound hits you. This was going to be an attack from all fronts kind of a movie. The animation, the story, the heart, the drama, the sound. You could tell from that opening that it was going to hit you. And when it did, it to me was the greatest animated movie of all time. And I can already tell that this one is following in the same path of success, and with the liberties that it's taking, with just the little things like that. If you come from watching the movie to reading the book, and you know how in a book there's more to tease the imagination. So these liberties that they're taking, so that simple conversation, life not fair, is it? I should never be king. Then you hear that on the trailer version where you hear him saying how about the weak and being eaten by the strong. That whole thing, you can tell. Was some are born to feast, and others spend their lives in the dark. So he's not even showing him saying these things, and he's not even he doesn't have a mouse up in his hand. So he could have this thing cornered. It might not even be a mouse. It could be a bigger animal or another kind of rodent or something. He probably has it cornered, and he's just snuck up on it. And that's it. He's trapped, and he knows he's screwed because Scar's right there blocking the exit. And you ain't gonna do nothing about that. And he's just telling you about how you're going to die. And then Zazu comes in and messes it all up. But it goes on and on. But you think it's like he's talking to Nala and Simba. And it goes into, but obviously it's editing. If you've seen the movie, you know that's definitely editing. He's not talking to Simba on this one. He's talking to that mouse or whoever he has cornered in the beginning of the movie as he's skipping the birth of his nephew. That the scene where Scar is standing there and the hyenas are coming up from behind. Eddie. Oh man, Ed. Oh, that's another thing I'm gonna be looking for. Ed. The little things, the little touches that you don't think about in the movie. When Mufasa came to rescue his son and Nala from that first attack, and they try to play it off, Whoopi Goldberg, and I'm trying to play it off cheap. They're like, oh, man, it's silence. Oh, I'm shut up now, man. I'm real sorry. I'm so sorry right now. Please. It's like, if you ever come to get my son again. Oh, is this your son? I didn't know that. They just quick thinking on their feet. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that was your boy. No. And at the same time, they look over. Ed, they just need a third person to corroborate the story. Did you know it was his son? Shakes his head. Yeah, I knew that was it. Oh, yeah. Oh man, Mufasa was so pissed. They burned off. That was like one of the only moments of the cartoon where it was a cartoon. Where they burned off in that puff smoke. See? Yeah, we're gone like the road one. That was something I'm going to be looking for as far as that dynamic with Ed. I want to know what Ed is going to bring to the table, man. That whole subtle conversations with the hyenas who are dangling at the bottom of the food chain, and then Chi-Chi's drooling. Man, I hate dangling. Little touches like that. Those are little things. It's all those little things that Gwen Stefani was talking about that we hold so dear, because it's all those little things that I fear, because I'm just a girl. So that's another little subtle touch that I'm going to be looking for. Obviously the whole thing with the character development within the heart, the love between son and father, as he's trying to guide and son and teach him to become the king that he wants him to be, the king he needs to be for the sake of the pride and all that stuff. That's it's. Unless you're not following the playbook of the original movie, you can tell from the trailer he's probably going to execute this right. Jon Favreau, after what he did with Jungle Book, you just knew he deserved to be the director of The Lion King. It's going to be hard to imagine him not doing this one justice, and up to the point where, like the point where I think where Simba was learning how to. Well, he was learning a lesson from his father, being lectured, and he looks up and he sees that beetle fly off and stuff. I think that was also in the original. Little things like that, those little touches where you can see through Simba's eyes the wonder, the curiosity, the hubris, him feeling like he's untouchable. Everything around me is beneath me. But at the same, then they added that message when Simba was teaching. Being taught by Mufasa, that a great king doesn't just take; it's about what a king can give. Now, that was also the lesson from the original, where it was about the circle of life and the balance. We're all working together, from the antelope to the lions. We're like, but Dad, don't we eat the antelope? Yes, but when we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And you see, Simba, we all connected in the circle of life. You might be at the top of the food chain, but sooner or later, the thing that you will all return to the ground, just like everything does, and you will become the fodder for these things that you think that you're above them on the food chain while you're alive, but when you die, you get absorbed. Everything comes to get you. The insects, the other animals, what do they call, not hunters, but scavengers, all those things, man. It was all in there. He didn't go into that much detail about it. You don't teach your son, man, when we die, these ants and bugs and worms gonna be all tearing you up. It's gonna be nasty, a little bug in your web. So no, of course he didn't get all that detail about it, but I just want to see that teaching moment. I hope that teaching moment is there. And it feels like so for me, that's what I got from that little scene from when he was looking at that bug. You see Scar also about the halfway point of this trailer, talking with the hyena army, and this would probably be the part where the "Be Prepared" song would play. But obviously, I think I heard that they're not going to do that song, or they're going to do something else. So where they go with that is another thing. It seems like they got the animation down almost perfectly, because I like in some scenes you can you look like you're looking at real animals who happen to know how to talk. The direction that they're going to go with what's his name, the baboon, I forgot his name, Rafiki, what he is going to do, as far as I heard they're doing that scene where he goes full karate on them, on the hyenas, and that's another thing I'm gonna be looking for. Him seeing, looking at him and seeing that wise animal, and that conversation between him and Simba about learning from the past, and life being about pain and how we learn from it. You can either run from it or learn from it. I'm hoping that scene is there as well. Obviously they're going to add their body as well, but I'm also looking for that karate scene as well, like everybody else is. Seeing Scar, it looks like Scar does not have his dark black mane. I'm wondering why. His mane, his coloring is lighter. I wonder why they didn't go with the darker colored mane form. But shot for shot from what we saw in there, it looks like it's gonna be pretty good, man. From you got a good cast here. Donald Glover, Seth Rogen, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I never can say the name right. Alfred Woodard, all the way down to let's see, Billy Eichner, John Caney, John Oliver. Damn, I forgot he was in it. Florence Kasumba, Eric Andre, Keegan Michael Key. You know who he's playing, and Timon, I believe, and Pumbaa's played like Seth Rogen, I believe. Beyoncé Knowles, James Earl Jones, obviously. But then they come down to, and that's the part that I was afraid of, was how they would execute, how well that they would do with the whole thing with how they were gonna do the Hakuna Matata thing. And it seems like with the songs that I did hear in this trailer, it fits so perfectly, and I'm glad that they go there. There's certain songs that translate and fit well with the with this updated version. But the Hakuna Matata song, which was back in the '90s, you might as well consider that the Let It Go song. Everybody kept singing it over and over. They even made a TV show out of Hakuna Matata, and but it looks like it's going to fit the way they're doing it. They look carefree. They look like they have no worries. They captured that the whole thing where Simba's getting older and older. That looked perfect to me. So I feel like that whole transition from boy to man, and the fact that he hasn't learned to be a king yet, that part is going to be real good. I cannot wait. That fight between Nala and Simba when she goes looking for food, comes after Pumbaa, like that. I want to see how they get that, bite it, I told you this guy was going to come in handy, and that joke, like, oh, so Pumbaa, why am I always caught saving you? You're pushing it on his butt. One more call, always trying to save you. Like, you think he's going to say ass, but but I want to know if they're gonna how they're gonna execute that. That looks like it's gonna be good. So overall, yeah, man, this trailer is in fuego, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's gonna be trending #1 all damn day and then some. So let's let me know what you guys thought about it. What besides the big stuff, the roar at the end of the stampede and the staples of the Lion King. What are the little things that you are looking for, everybody, when you want to comment? You want to comment on this? Let me know what those little things are that you love about the Lion King. Don't just go after the stuff that everybody talks about. Let's talk about those little things, those little bitty things that people don't really notice that much, but that one thing that you noticed, that one thing that caught your eye that you're looking for from the original to this version of it. That's what I want to talk about. So comment, let me know what you guys think, and let's talk about that. Okay, so what else is going on? And in the future, I'm gonna have Joy sit with me and with her phone and just let's spout out on what's going on in the world right now. And I guess the only major story right now that's going on is the whole issue with the college campus thing that's been going on. I'll talk about it briefly. How Felicia, the actress from Desperate Housewives, she pled guilty. I mean, she had a lesser charge. It looks like she's only going to get a couple months. And at the most, if she gets 4 months in federal prison, I was joking about whether or not it was going to be a maximum or if it was just going to be minimum security prison, where they put the millionaires and the billionaires and stuff like that. But then so a panelist was like, man, look, this is federal prison. Oh, look, light or not, I mean, rich or not, I mean, you don't want to go to federal prison. I don't care. So you're not going to have a good time. And then Sean was thinking that because she's a celebrity, that she's going to be segregated from everybody else. And I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she's going to go to prison. I think she'll always have eyes on her, and I feel like the guards will be like, don't mess with her. But if she gets 4 months, she'll probably be out in 2.5 to 3 months of good behavior. She'll probably only do half of that, and then I feel like she will come out golden out of that, only because of the fact that she owned up to it. She copped to it. You look at the situation. There's no evidence on her husband really of being involved. So they probably had a conversation. We can't both go down for this because we have our children and our legacy to think about. We can't both go in for this. So one of us has to be. And they seem to mostly only have the evidence on you. So they probably had that conversation. Like, you got to go in. She was like, and that was really, and the lawyer was like, yes, you got to go in. You got to plead guilty. And then pleading guilty also sways the prosecution of how hard they're going to punish and whatnot. So that's why she was only given 4 months. Now moving on to Aunt Becky's ass. Now, her is going to be totally different. People are ragging about her, about how she smiling, waving, and signing autographs all the way to the court appearance. And the prosecution don't like that. So you're not taking it seriously. So you paid $500,000 and trying to cheat and get your daughter in and acting like you were just above everything. You could afford to get her in, but you're gonna try to cheat. Okay, all right, and you're gonna come to the court acting stupid. Okay. But dude, I heard the most that she's facing is up to maximum of the worst case scenario will be like 20 years. And I believe both parents are in trouble for this. So I think she mostly, because she did most of the talking. What is up with the situation? It's like, okay, it's like mom is the one who handles the enrollment process from birth. Dad was probably off from work, but she was a working mom too. So it seems like it's funny that the moms are the only ones that are really under the bus right now. But I think Aunt Becky's husband is more in trouble than the other couple because come on, $500,000. I mean, I know they got money, but man, you ain't got. I mean, for that full house money, you ain't making enough money to be willing to drop $500,000 like that. I mean, up to $1 million like that. Come on, man. I mean, it's coming from that fashion money from the husband. So obviously they both gonna be seeing some time. But we know Aunt Becky from TV, so we only focused on her. So honestly, I think the most they already said based on what they got, whether she pleads guilty or not, based on what they have, the minimum that she's looking at, the best case scenario is 4 years. And from what I heard, she was offered a plea deal that she turned down. And everybody's like, what the hell are you turning? What's wrong with you? You are guilty and dead to rights. What are you turning down? Well, for one, we don't know what the plea, the deal was. I believe it was for the minimum, or maybe a little bit above the minimum, maybe 5 to 10 years, half of what the worst case scenario could be. Just like deal or no deal, right? So you can't give them the best case scenario, even though if it's a bad situation. You can't give them the best scenario. And if you're trying to make a plea, you can't get too close to the worst case scenario. It's going to scare the hell out of them. So you kind of go in the middle of that. So what's between 4 years? What's between not going to jail at all and 20 years? About 10 years. So she probably was offered. She was probably offered 10 years. And she said, "I'm too beautiful and rich for that. No, thank you. And I'm going to fight this in court." Where the prosecution was like, good luck, because you might not like 10 years, but you're still going to do at least 4, which her lawyer probably like, yeah. And now we're going to be fighting for the whole 20. So now, depending on how well your lawyer does or how well the prosecution does, now it's up in the air. So now it all falls on that judge and that jury. So where's it going to land? we find the defendant guilty because the evidence proves she is. Everybody says she did it, and there was written evidence that she did these things. So the judges go, unless the judge, you got only are you banking on the fact that or the possibility that the judge is a Full House fan, and even if he was or she is, what makes you think your character, Uncle Jesse? Yeah, I'm like, I can't Uncle Jesse, no, Uncle Jesse, no, he's too beautiful. That girl's eyes. But Aunt Becky, no. Aunt Becky was more forgettable for, I don't know. Maybe that's what she's banking on. Maybe my celebrity on the Hallmark Channel, which all of them dumped her, by the way. You know, they're saying things like these kids are having a hard time now because of what the parents did to them, putting them in the limelight in this negative way. They're getting bullied. Now, you're damn right you're getting bullied. Now, you know how many people bust their ass, white, black, no matter. I mean, just poor, just average Americans or whatever, just trying. And then you do this. So, yeah, you're going to get what you get. So let's see what happens. Roll those dice. Let's see. Let me know what you guys think. I think she's going down. But hey, comment below. Let me know what you think, and we'll just keep talking about it. But yeah, till next time, guys. My battery's running low. I forgot to plug it in, so I'm gonna call it right here. Peace, guys.